Hi, Deacon John Wilson here, Education Enrichment Director for West Angeles Church. Hope you're doing great today. I'm here with our Spanish speaking expert and other stuff too, but I'm interested in that today. And this is Andrea Wilson. She has been working with me in some way for wow, how long, Andrea?
11 years.
11 years. Oh my God. Anyway, in case you didn't know, even though we're Beauty and the Beast, that is my daughter. Uh, y'all know that though. Maybe some of you didn't know. She's got an exciting program that we're happy to be partners with her on. And parents, I want you to think when you hear this, think out of the box. Think job skills. A lot of you have already told me you want your students to have unique skills that will help them in the job market. And I think that 21 Bridges, she'll tell you about them. So what say you, Andrea? How are you today? And how are you today?
I'm doing well. I have a lot of
And
energy.
tell them about your Spanish fluency plan and vision. Go.
Yes. So our vision is to ensure that our youth have access to learn Spanish as a second language from native speakers. So we have started to launch, we've already launched actually our virtual cultural exchange program, which allows our American students to be paired with a student in Mexico to do language exchange. Think modern day penpal program, but virtually online. Students meet for an hour with our coordinator in Mexico. They share their English and they allow that Mexican student to practice English, and they're so eager and excited. And then in return, the Mexican student asks them questions and shares their Spanish speaking experience with our English students and forces them out of their comfort zone to speak Spanish. Our facilitator does a really good job at setting the students up for success by providing them with vocabulary in English and Spanish and reviewing topics that they're going to talk about. And our topics are really interesting. It ranges from social media to celebrities to sports, anything centered around popular culture, because that's really
Perfect.
what a lot Gen Z likes to talk about. So we keep the topics fresh, and we really want to make sure there's no shame and with speaking something new. And we're trying to make sure our borders are staying virtually open so that our students can still get that cultural connection and sensitivity that a lot of them want.
I love that. Okay, so I guess that's a good detail, parents. Something they'll be interested in. A lot of these students, you want them to speak Spanish, right, parents? You tell me all the time. This is a great way to keep them engaged and enrich them away from school. The school's going to teach them, to read it, write, to do a little writing in it. But what have you found, Andrea, that school can't do? Go ahead.
One thing that Veronica Cruz and I both agree with is that school is really good at making our students literate, so they can graduate knowing how to read in Spanish, but they don't know what they're reading. They don't know, they know how to conjugate a verb, but they don't know how to put a sentence together. Or they know how to, they can listen. A lot of them say, I can listen and sometimes understand a little bit, but I could never talk back. They have no confidence to speak whatsoever. And I find this at and in students who sometimes go to bilingual schools. And I think sometimes that happens because there's a lot of intimidation in school environments, and our youth aren't pushed enough outside of school to normalize speaking a different language. And we only really see this as a problem. America is one of the few countries where that is stigmatized. Speaking a language, a foreign language outside of your native languages is uncomfortable versus other continents that you know, Deacon, where Europe, it's common that a student will speak three languages
Yeah,
with no fear of appropriation or,
some African
we're
countries too, right?
yes, many African countries speak multiple dialects, multiple languages. Francophone countries are found in Africa, and a Spanish-speaking country is found in Africa. So it's really important that that our program begins to change the narrative of how it feels for an American to be bilingual.
I'm getting a lot of I've gotten two correspondence, maybe three, from parents who have their young men in immersion programs. Is,
Mhm.
let me play devil's advocate, see what you say. Come on now, Andrea. Isn't an immersion program guaranteeing they're going to speak Spanish and love it?
No. Sometimes students who go through immersion programs have the same amount of confidence, low confidence, as students who don't. And the thing that's really missing is the outside opportunity to speak. So you would think that a student who goes
Ah,
through a program can order food at a Mexican restaurant or a taco truck, right? But no, they can't because they are not around the culture enough. It's different. Immersion program doesn't guarantee that you'll be speaking to someone from another country that's your peer. You know, you want to
that's true. You missed the
want
cultural
their
part.
views. You miss the cultural part, but you get the teachers, and they usually have these 90-10 rules where 90% is taught in Spanish and 10% in English. And but the thing is, they're going to school with Americans still and still speaking English all day on the playground.
Good point. I didn't think you were going to answer that way. Wow, I'm learning something today too. I thought I knew everything. See, parents, I learned something. Uh, la last thing, how do you stay sharp with your Spanish? Hmm.
That is a great question. I've started to hire people, staff in other countries. So we have
Oh,
staff
it's you have to talk to them.
Mexico, and we do language exchange. I force her to speak English, and she forces me to speak Spanish. So about 50% of our meetings are done in Spanish, and
Oh
50%
my.
are and then our staff is not all bilingual, but they are forced to, our social media team is forced to know some Spanish, learn on the job. They put posts out in Spanish and they work with our Mexican counterpart to make sure that their grammar is correct. I also go to taco trucks and I order in Spanish. I go to Hispanic restaurants. We haven't been in a while. We haven't done this in a while,
Yeah,
but
we
I order
should.
my in Spanish. Will book a trip every now and then. You know, last year I went to Costa Rica
Right.
and I make sure I was there for a week or so and I did nothing but speak Spanish. And I think the feedback to me was, wow, you're so brave. But I try to tell people I don't have to be brave to go to a Spanish speaking country because it's my second language. It's like going to Texas. You know, I'm speaking a language I already know. I'd be braver if I was going to a country that spoke a language I didn't speak, right? But when you're bilingual, you can put yourself in those situations, and what's weird for other people or scary for other people, it's just normal. So I try to take trips and make sure I am still immersing even myself.
All right. Well, thanks, Andrea. I'm going to include below, parents, a link to her website where you can
Yeah.
sign up and her email address. Don't you have an email exchange with her? You know,
Yeah.
parents. I really want to get feedback from you, parents, too. If you have any questions for me, um, I think I'm going to get back and visit with Andrea from time to time. I really think this is probably, it is. Okay. I hadn't thought of it this way. Today, anyway. It is the most important job skill for a student if they can say they speak Spanish. It's going to give them all kinds of access from the jobs I look at all the time. I got a partner right now who wants to hire somebody who speaks Spanish, but I only had two of my team I could offer. And, you know, I have one that should do it, but she can't. She doesn't speak Spanish. And it's the reality of the marketplace right now, parents. Let's come on. What do you say? Let's get our kids into this. You can afford it. If you're having trouble, say you want to pay what she's going to charge, and it's going to be something like 60 to 80 a month. I don't know what she's going to do. And you see remember with me, if you see a price you can't afford, always have limited financial aid for the first few to do it. So be quick and sign up and we can talk about it. All right. Anything else, Andrea, I should mention here before we go?
Yes, in addition to our virtual cultural exchange program for students who are a little bit more introverted and they're maybe a little bit nervous to speak to a peer in Spanish, we also have our private lessons that we offer,
That's right.
also taught by Veronica Cruz. I think parents are used to me teaching all the lessons, but I am slowly pivoting out of that. Our vision is to actually bring more native speaking instructors into the company from different countries so that our students can be exposed to multiple dialects. So whether your student wants to just learn one-on-one or learn from another peer with an adult facilitator, there's options. And then I run our tutoring program still, and we have three college students actually that have returned. They're all freshmen. So we have college students from Spelman, UCLA, Northridge that have returned to receive tutoring because I think it's because they really love our program.
Well, yeah, I
They have
like when they go
tutoring.
to college and remember you. I like that.
Yeah, they have tutoring on campus. And I often say, can't you go to tutoring on
What
campus
do they
or
say?
they say I'd rather just come back to you. So um, we've seen students. I have a student who hated Spanish when I first came to her, and now she can read and her pronunciation is a lot better. And so I'm hoping that I can convince her to look into a student exchange program to go to another country for cheaper or study abroad. And she's starting to now talk like that. So you just never know, parents, what your students will change and morph into. I think I'm pretty influential. I think it's beautiful that our kids can see a Black person speaking Spanish, but also a
Hmm.
native person speaking Spanish who loves youth as well. So we're really proud that we're doing this. Our team is small, but we're really mighty.
Cool. Okay, thanks very much, Andrea. Parents, as always, if you like this video, click like, subscribe for sure to get interviews like this, college and academic information, and other information to help your family. God bless you all. Bye bye now.